Hello everyone, this is Palak Mehta and I'm here to explain about virtualization security management. During this whole session, we will be covering the following topics: cloud computing, virtualization, virtualization security, security requirement for virtualization, virtualization attacks, virtualization security management, virtualization security solution, and security benefits due to virtualization. Now, let's begin the session. Cloud computing. It refers to manipulating, configuring, and accessing the hardware and the software resources remotely. It offers online data storage, infrastructure, and application. So basically, cloud computing provides us a means of accessing the application as utility all over the internet. It allows us to create customized applications online. Virtualization. It is the creation of virtual servers, infrastructures, devices, and computing resources. Virtualization changes the hardware software relations and is one of the foundational elements of cloud computing. Or we can define it as the abstraction of hardware or software that lets the application run on top of the virtualization environment. That is the virtualized machine without knowing the underlying resources available. Virtualization security. Cloud computing environments, issues of malicious codes, hacking, and leak of confidential information are the biggest concern of people. Virtualization security is the collective measures, procedures, and processes that ensure the protection of virtualization environment. So it basically refers to the security solutions that are designed to work inside a virtualized environment. Security requirements of virtualization. Different virtualization approaches can be applied to various system layers, including hardware, desktop, operating system, software, memory, storage, data, and network. Full virtualization is a form of hardware virtualization that involves the abstraction of underlying hardware and provides better operation efficiency by putting more workload on each physical system. Full virtualization is categorized in two types: bare metal virtualization and hosted virtualization. In bare metal virtualization, it is mostly used for server virtualization in large computing systems, for example, cloud computing, as it provides better performance, more robustness, and agility. Virtualization attacks. Okay, so each component of virtualization layer acts as an attack vector to launch multiple attacks on the system. Attacks that target different components of virtualization environment may result in the security issue such as steal of customer data and system hacking. The attacks are of following types: service provider attacks, hypervisor attacks, VM jumping, and host traffic interception. Now, let us discuss these attacks one by one. Service provider attacks. If the attacker has physical access to the cloud hardware, he may run malicious application or code in the system to damage the virtual machines by modifying their source code and changing their functionality. So basically, in the service provider attacks, the attacker with physical access on the cloud hardware can damage the virtual machine by changing their source code. This attack results in loss of data confidentiality and unauthorized traffic monitoring. Hypervisor attacks. The most obvious way to attack a virtualized data center or cloud is to gain access to the hypervisor, which controls all the virtual machines running in the data center or cloud. In hypervisor attacks, the cloud customer can lease a guest virtual machine to install a malicious guest operating system which attacks and compromises the hypervisor by changing the source code in order to gain memory access. So they are of two types: attack on hypervisor through host operating system, and attack on hypervisor through guest operating system. Now let's discuss these one by one. Attacks on hypervisor through host operating system. This attack exploits the vulnerabilities of the host operating system on which the hypervisor runs. Since virtualization deployments are done with the host architecture with vulnerabilities and security holes, attack can be done to gain access to the controller host operating system. Now, attack on hypervisor through guest operating system. This attack is also known as VM escape, as the attacker used the guest operating system to gain unauthorized access to the virtual machine. It is the most possible attack on the hypervisor if the attacker finds out how this virtual machine resource maps to the physical resources. Attacker will be able to attack directly on the physical resources. Now, moving ahead to VM jumping attacks. So, it is an attack method that exploits the hypervisor weakness that allows the virtual machine to be accessed from another. It is also known as virtual machine guest hopping. So, in this type of attack, if the security hole in hypervisor occurs and is found, the user is logged to one virtual machine, can move over another virtual machine and gain access to it. Virtualization security management. Virtualization security management refers to security solutions that are software based and designed to work within a virtualized IT environment. Virtualization security solutions. With the growth in virtualization and problems in virtualization security, many firms and researchers have developed ways to combat the potential vulnerabilities. Now, these are of two types: solutions based on virtualization architecture and solutions based on virtualization infrastructure. The solutions based on virtualization architecture are further divided into three categories: hypervisor security, guest OS security, and image management security. The solutions based on virtualization infrastructure are divided into two categories: security on virtual layer and security on physical layer. So, solutions based on virtualization architecture basically aims to solve the security issues by employing the security measure on virtualization components. Hypervisor security. It is the application of traditional security measures to the hypervisor. This is a principal component of virtualization security. The hypervisor is the entire management layer for a virtualized system. If the hypervisor is compromised, then all the virtual machines controlled by the hypervisor, such as access control, automatic updating, etc., all these security measures are the ways to prevent hypervisor. Solutions based on virtualization architecture. The second one is guest operating system security. It is the application of traditional security measures to the guest operating system. This may sound like a redundant process to hypervisor security, but in virtualization, every component must be secure in order for to be secure. Virtualized system should be secure. Okay, so since a guest operating system is running on a virtual machine, behaves like a physical operating system on a physical machine, security measures for a single operating system are deployed for each guest operating system. Also, each guest operating system have their sufficient isolation, and more importantly, the communication between the guest OS and the hypervisor must be secure, as the guest OS can use physical peripherals available on the machine. Next is image management security. It is securing of how virtual images are stored, transported and managed in a virtualized data center or cloud. Okay, so basically it ensures securing of virtual images that are stored and managed on cloud. To achieve image security, strong network security must be needed to ensure safe transformation of virtual machine image. Solutions based on virtualization infrastructure. This aims to solve the security vulnerabilities by creating a secure gateway in the virtualization infrastructure security. Security on virtual layer. It is achieved by securing how virtual machines and hypervisors talk to each other in a virtual network. So, to take the full advantage of virtualization infrastructure, VPNs are commonly created to manage different levels of authorities on virtual machines. Security on physical layer. One of the most notable features in this area is host-based intrusion detection and prevention. It allows the system to ensure that at least the physical layer will not be compromised easily through other means. It is basically the design of structure of the physical system that brings security in a virtualized environment. Security benefits due to virtualization. First is centralized storage. So it is used to prevent the loss of data. Second is isolation. When virtual machines and applications are properly isolated with one another, so if one virtual machine is attacked by attacker, then only one operating system will get affected. Third is flexibility. It allows sharing of system without sharing the necessary critical information across the system. Fourth is rollback. If a virtual machine is infected, it can roll back to a prior secure state that exists before the attack. Fifth is faster provisioning of applications. And last is increased IT productivity, efficiency, and responsiveness. So that was it about virtualization security management. Thank you.